Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to our first game of the night. It is going to be St. Clair College versus Arkansas State University. Our first map is going to be Ilios. But before we get started, as always, my name is Shadi Zaddy Henna, and alongside me on the caster's desk tonight is Amanda Commanda Dupuy. Amanda, how are we doing tonight?
Hi, Zaddy. Doing great. It's going to be a great night for some Overwatch. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, this game looks really exciting. I'm really pumped to see how the players do. We saw them last week. Have a really great game against St. Louis. And I'm really hoping to see that same level of performance tonight. It was a 2-0 last week, so let's get it again this week tonight. Starting again, of course, on the Ilios map. Amanda, what can you say about these control point maps, especially for St. Clair? What does St. Clair looking to do on these control points?
Now, a control point, you really want to make sure that you can get to that point first and hold it, because if you get there second, they can push you off right away. So it really is about this first push. Let's see if they can make it good.
Ready for battle.
Now, it looks like here St. Clair is going for a more mobile comp than if they were to go with something like an Ana or a little bit more of a slow comp. It looks like both teams are looking to go fast to the point.
Yeah, absolutely. On the side of Arkansas, we see the Reaper and the Sombra, both really strong flankers, tank killers. Whereas on St. Clair, we kind of see a more aggressive lineup with the Tracer diving into the backline, focusing on those carries, those squishy DPS carries in the back. So we'll have to see how these teams approach the point. Looks like holding onto that left rune there. Spades actually already taking Strider out on the side there, kind of pushing in, poking slowly. Arkansas with the Reinhardt, slowly pushing in on this point. Available, trying to do what he can, poke out some damage on the side here, but it's just kind of slow back and forth here on this point. Neither team really willing to commit to an all-in right now, just charging up some ultis, trying to get some points down, do some damage while they can. We do actually see Seymour taking out Kakro on the back. Apostles taking on the Spades. Strider on Pitter Patter. That's 3 heroes down on Arkansas side, and St. Clair's just going to easily cap that point.
We saw it in the last game last week. Apostle really own his Brigitte, so let's see if he can make that big difference in this game as well.
Yeah, for sure. He is on the Lucio on this map, but as we know, Lucio on Ilios is such a strong support pick with the ability to boot heroes off the map with that right click. Just beat them off the map there really quick. It's an instant one-shot, even for a support, so really lethal threat from that Lucio pick on this map. Neither team really willing to commit here, just kind of a slow hold here. Seymour actually looking for the finish up on Spades. Spades goes down, dropping to the Coalescence by Justin. And it looks like St. Clair is going to be able to easily hold on to this point. Actually taking out 2 kills, Justin picking up Pitter Patter on the back there as well. Wada does get hacked, but he zones himself off on the side there. Apostle kind of helping hold control over the point here, but he does fall. The Diva knocks Apostle right off the map. But Wada props the Primal Rage, taking out a kill on Cockrow again. And St. Clair is going to push Arkansas off here.
I really like the Reaper pick here with Bailable. Just being able to get in there and do a little bit of damage and get out fast is really great for this map, in my opinion.
For sure, and with the St. Clair lineup as well, like we've seen the Diva Winston is really in the dive meta, these heroes getting picked up a lot, being able to kind of hold control over that high ground and get some poke damage in without really having to necessarily overcommit into these team fights, just giving them some time to charge up some ultimates. You know, Seymour does have the Diva Bomb available, Apostle almost has the beat, but Arkansas has a couple ultimates available as well, so it's really going to be up to kind of who makes this first initial pick here.
It looks like Spades has a Death Blossom ready as well, so we might see that this fight.
He's probably looking to commit the Death Blossom here, but we do actually see 3 heroes getting taken down on Arkansas' side. Might choose to hold it and wait for a better opportunity, and it's just going to be another team wipe for St. Clair. That's 95% on the point. It's going to be hard for Arkansas to make the touch here.
Seymour uses Diva Bomb right at the end there.
Yeah, Seymour kind of throwing the bomb out to kind of zone them off the point, but it's just going to be an easy cap for St. Clair. That first point, 100% to 0. Just an absolute stomp to start the game off. And St. Clair College really exerting dominance on that first point. It does actually look like someone in the spectators asking for a pause. Apparently that decision's been called. So no pause, keep going with the game. Just getting ready for the second point.
It's really interesting seeing St. Clair's team this year, almost a total revamp, with 3 out of 6 of their players that have been in top 500 in the past few seasons. So it really shows, especially in that first map there, just how coordinated they are and how much skill these players have. Same thing with the side of Arkansas. They look like they really work well as a team, and I think we're going to have a good match today.
For sure, and a couple of our St. Clair College players are actually first-year students in the esports administration program. I'm actually in class with Apostle, with Available, so it's really cool to see them perform up on the stage, on the main stage here with some of these veteran players. But we don't have time to talk about that now. Another team fights are already breaking out on Well here, on Ilios Well now. The map has changed. Just poking into that Rhine shield in the wall, in the house there. Doing some damage. Seymour taking out Cockrow again. Cockrow is always the first to fall here, and actually cleaning up a kill on Whitey as well. Spades does win the 1v1 against Bailable, the Reaper 1v1, but it looks like St. Clair's going to be able to hold this point for the most part.
Apostle going in there with a little bit of poke damage and making sure his team stays up. The speed with the Lucio is very important on this point here, as well as the boots.
100%, and especially on a map like Well, like Ilios is really famous for having these wide open areas where heroes can get knocked off the map for by characters like Roadhog, like Diva, like Lucio. So this Lucio pick is going to be really important for St. Clair and for Arkansas side on this team on this map. It's really going to be up to kind of whichever support really pulls their A game and forces as much pressure as they can on these points.
For sure. When I hear Ilios, first thing I think of is Lucio.
You're actually walking off the map, falling to his death somehow, and Bailable soon to join him.
Out.
Oh, actually, sorry, that was my mistake. That was a Spades falling. Seymour knocking Spades into the hole there. Bailable does fall as well. Woody knocking Bailable down. Seymour does cleaning up the kill on Cockrow there. Buada committing the Primal Rage, chasing in onto the Lucio in the back, onto the supports on Arkansas side. Seymour does help him clean up the kill on Pitter Patter there. And it's just going to be quick chases down on these supports. Arkansas's forces are totally scattered here, and St. Clair is easily picking them off one by one. Seymour killing up Spades. It's going to be Fortress falling shortly. And Wada diving in on the Winston, just cleaning up some kills in the back here. Totally trickling Arkansas's lineup. Cockrow getting knocked out in the back as well. Fortrevere falling totally off the map. And it's really, really looking difficult for Arkansas to kind of establish a push here. They're getting trickled one by one.
Seymour and Wada are really doing their best to kind of assert their dominance, tell them, no, you can't touch this point. They get too close, they boop them back, or they push them back with the monkey jump or the Diva boop. And they're doing an awesome job of holding it. Let's see if Arkansas can get through that wall.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see a number of ultimates becoming available for St. Clair here. We have the Diva Bomb, we have the Tracer Bomb, and it looks like Bailable, I was just about to say, had the Death Blossom nearly available, but does get knocked out before the beginning of that fight. The drop the beat does get committed by Witty, but it looks once that shield goes down, St. Clair is looking like they're going to have a number of opportunities to do some poke damage here. Unfortunately, Seymour does actually get hacked and loses the mech entirely. Spades committing the Death Blossom, and it might actually be Arkansas holding control of this point here just for a short little while. St. Clair does have 99%. Available with the Death Blossom available, just poking in on the Diva, looking for a good opportunity to commit this ultimate here. Not finding it yet. Just focusing, finishing off that kill on the Diva. Coalescence does get committed in the back by Justin, holding on, doing whatever he can to keep his team up. And Bailable with an absolutely dominant Death Blossom. 2 kills solo, 2 kills with the ultimate. And that's going to be an easy cleanup for St. Clair. 2-0 on this first control point map.
Oh my goodness. For a second there, it looked like St. Clair was going to be pushed back to spawn and have to regroup. But after that ult from Bailable there, that was insane. And Justin making sure he keeps up his team with that Coalescence.
A well-deserved play of the game here for Bailable. We'll get a chance to watch that, run that back here. So we do see the first kill onto the Diva, taking out the Diva mech and cleaning up the Moira and immediately committing the Death Blossom, cleaning up the Sombra, cleaning up the Reinhardt, and just an easy cap for St. Clair in the end there.
Almost a total wipe on Arkansas from just Bailable himself. It's insane.
Yeah, really well done from the St. Clair squad. And the one thing I liked the most about that match was just how well coordinated their attack lines were. You know, it was one hero at a time. They'd pick up a pick, and their target focus. I said this a lot last week. St. Clair has amazing target focus in these team fights. They always know who the first hero to fall is. We could see on that first map that Mercy went down first nearly every time, followed closely by the Lucio. And once those healers go down, right, like your offensive line, your tank line, it's hard for them to stay up if they have nothing to keep them alive.
Exactly. And it looked like Justin, when he committed the Coalescence at the end there, he knew, I have to keep these tanks alive or it's all going to fall apart. And he was right. And it created an opening for Bailable to unleash that Death Blossom at the perfect time.
Absolutely. And before we get into the second game here, I would like to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. St. Clair College, of course, for sponsoring the St. Clair Saints, St. Clair SRC, the Alumni Association, Zekelman School of Business, PC Outlet, and Tim Hortons. Thank you so much for sponsoring our St. Clair Saints. We couldn't have these awesome games without you guys, and we're really looking forward to this game number 2 here, St. Clair versus Arkansas. Awesome. Welcome back, everybody. We are about to get started with our second match of the day. It is going to be St. Clair again versus Arkansas State University here on Havana. Havana is an escort map. Now, Amanda, can you talk a little bit about the difference between escort and control and what the teams might be trying to do differently here?
So with an escort map, you want to get the payload to the end the quickest with the most time remaining. And that's a little bit different from control point. With control point, you want to make sure you hold that one point, and there isn't a whole lot of movement. But now, when you're on an escort map like this, you have to be confident with moving and holding your position constantly compared to a control point. So this is typically we see where teams will have better luck with a control point compared to an escort, or vice versa. So maybe St. Clair College might not be as strong, or maybe they will still be as strong with this map here, but only time will tell.
It's a totally different strategy, as you were saying. And we actually do see a composition switch. St. Clair pushing really aggressively here at the beginning here. We have the Zarya swapped in, the Winston Diva being swapped for Zarya Reinhardt. We do see Apostle on the Brigida, and as you were saying, Apostle popped off really heavy last week. And already St. Clair taking out two. Prince Wada going crazy in the front, taking down Spades and Witty, actually knocking down the Diva mech as well. And that's just a quick 2.5 kills there for St. Clair right at the start of this point.
Wow. I've seen Bailable's previous games when he was in Elo Hell, working with his team there, and he does those May walls, those sneaky May walls, insanely. So that was really cool to see here on that first push.
Yeah, and this is a really abusive strategy, honestly, from St. Clair, kind of forcing Arkansas, not even allowing them to step out of the point. It's already burned a minute off the game clock, and Arkansas hasn't even been able to touch the payload, let alone push it. Really strong start from St. Clair. Very risky strategy, of course, as well. And there actually is a pause.
Well, we'll just take a moment here and get back to the game soon.
Not sure what's going on, but we're going to have to see what's going on. It looks like the players are sorting it out in team chat there. But already, at the start of that game, a minute burned by St. Clair, kind of holding that front door really strongly. Now, that's a very risky strategy, because obviously if one of the St. Clair members gets taken out, it's a long walk back to the point when you push up that far. And especially on a map like Havana, which has a pretty lengthy initial push with that payload. Really kind of dangerous play from St. Clair, but it seems to be working out in their favor.
For sure. Those May walls, you have to time them perfectly, or else somebody on your team will get picked off and then it all falls apart. As I said earlier, when I'd seen Bailable do the Get Good tournament by Elo Hell Esports, he always did risky moves like that, and it really shows that he's perfected it until now.
Yeah, absolutely, kind of leading the charge there. But Prince Wada with that Reinhardt just going absolutely crazy on the front there, taking out 3 heroes, all like basically single-handedly with that Reinhardt hammer. Does a ton of damage on each swing. Just a really incredible kind of start for St. Clair. We're going to be giving the players another minute here to kind of sort things out. Not sure what's happening exactly for what the reason for this pause is, but our production team is going to kind of let us know what's going on with that. In the meantime, Amanda, we have a very special announcement. We'd like to wish Prince Wada a very happy birthday. Corey,
happy birthday
here, and make sure to go tweet at Prince Wada and wish him a big happy birthday from all his St. Clair Saints. We love you, man. We're really excited to see you play tonight.
For sure. And it
looks like there's actually been a DC on the side of St. Clair. I've just been informed. So it's going to be another minute kind of until that gets going. But, I mean, we can talk about how this game's going compared to some of last week's game. We saw last week with St. Clair versus St. Louis. The games there were a lot kind of closer, especially on that first control point. There was a lot of back and forth. But it looks like St. Clair has really kind of ironed out their attack formation here on these control points as well, and apparently on these payload maps as well. Like that start was just super incredible. What can you say, Amanda, from watching these last 2 games here? I know you weren't with us last week, but from watching these 2 games, what do you notice about St. Clair's play that really kind of lends itself to their aggressive posturing and their just great overall team synergy?
Well, they've definitely been practicing. I can tell you that right away. It seems like they're a lot more confident. And Prince Wada with the Reinhardt, you could definitely tell he's a top 500 Reinhardt, and he has been in the past few seasons. And I think he's getting back up there now. But they've really ironed out all those little wrinkles in their formation and their confidence, and it shows that they're really becoming an effective team now.
Absolutely. And we do know, like, for those of us that kind of know the St. Clair Saints a little bit better, Seymour and Prince Water are two tank players for the Saints team. They play a lot of duo queue together. So even when they're not practicing with the team, they have a ton of just kind of inherent synergy. They know each other's play styles very well. And we would see, especially on that last point on Ilios with the Winston Diva combo, both of them playing diving tanks, kind of cleaning up kills in the back by themselves, like almost taking on a DPS role, just assassinating these supports in the back and really knowing kind of each other's attack patterns, being able to pick up a kill quickly before resetting back out.
For sure. Oh, and it looks like we're back into the game here.
They're still holding this front point there with those May walls, as you said, available, dropping those May walls, being able to kind of shut off Arkansas's movement. And it's actually like almost another team wipe for St. Clair. This is quite disgusting to watch, honestly.
Strider poking in the spawn.
They're not even allowed out.
Yeah.
They're quarantined, really, is what's happening here. I know it's a little triggering to say, but...
I'm getting flashbacks to earlier this year.
They're not allowed out of the house.
Yeah. And Strider again, trying to poke into spawn, get some kills.
We already see Strider with the ultimate available, that Death Blossom. We saw how much that wrecked Havoc last round was available. And here comes the triple kill, the quadra kill for Strider with the Death Blossom. That is a sextuple kill for St. Clair, an absolute team wipe. And it's just, oh my god. I don't even know what to say.
It's so hurts to watch here. Strider is really popping off.
The whole St. Clair squad, honestly, like, it just takes so much teamwork and so much kind of synergy to know each other to make these kinds of plays. But that EMP coming down, that's a big EMP, and this is probably going to be Arkansas's moment to get a little bit of a push back here. Witty does take out Strider in the back, but the May ulti gets committed by Bailable. That Reinhardt's going to take a ton of damage here, and that Mercy ult isn't going to be enough to keep him alive. Justin finishing off the kill on Cockrell there. Forivir getting frozen out. That mech's going to drop soon, and he's out of the mech now. There's no Diva ulti available. Spades now has the Death Blossom available, throwing it back on the St. Clair side. Does pick up a double kill there. The res does get popped, and St. Clair losing two, might have to back off here, but it looks like they're going to keep fighting. Strider coming in from the respawn here, pushing in on the Reinhardt, but they are going to have to be forced to back off here. And finally, Arkansas giving themselves a little bit of breathing room.
Wow, for a moment there, it looked like Arkansas had no chance to push out a spawn, but they were able to break through St. Clair's defenses and ultimately take the payload.
With only a minute remaining, though, it's going to take a crazy comeback for Arkansas to finish off this point. Now, where the payload is pushed here, for those of you that are unfamiliar with Ivana, this is typically where teams are defending on this point, kind of in between this like chapel here on the side. But St. Clair obviously chose a different strategy, and it worked amazingly well for them. But that Shatter does go down. Cockrell whipping out the Shatter, knocking down some of the members of St. Clair. But Strider in the back, picking off Spades, almost has the ulti available again, diving in on the Ana here. There's the Death Blossom up. He's ready to use it. Justin knocking Diva out of the mech. Apostle cleaning up Woody on the side here as well. And they're just going to chase them right back home, right back to where they came from.
Wow, St. Clair really wants to prove this is our point. You can't leave spawn.
Yeah, Strider with that short-range Reaper actually chasing Reinhardt all the way into the base and killing him with the long-range poke damage, not even letting him reset, just forcing that wait for the respawn timer there. And every kill, you know, especially when you trickle out kills, every kill forces your attacking team to really slow their pace. They have to wait for those resets. There's only 4 seconds remaining, and they've barely got the point halfway pushed. Seymour actually committing the Diva ulti in the back. There goes Cockrell. Reinhardt falls. The rest of the team is sure to follow. We can already see here Diva getting knocked out of the mech. Apostle taking out Witty. Strider with another double kill on the Death Blossom. That's going to be a team wipe, and that's going to be St. Clair taking a 2-0 victory over Arkansas State.
Not quite yet. St. Clair still has to attack, but very possible at this point. We'll see if Arkansas can keep them in spawn or if they'll be able to push out and cap a little bit further than Arkansas went.
You know what? I think I got a little ahead of myself there after seeing that phenomenal defense. I think I was just I was really excited, honestly.
It's all good.
But I've been corrected. Yes, there is an attack for St. Clair. They still do have to push in on Arkansas. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe Arkansas can return the favor on St. Clair and kind of barricade that starting door there as well. But if the last 3 maps have been any proof of the way that St. Clair is performing tonight, this is going to be a quick victory for St. Clair here.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It looks like the teams have switched up their compositions a little bit. St. Clair actually opting for the Sigma over the Zarya and switching to the Sombra as well. That Sombra we've seen in a number of other games. When she was first released, honestly was not all that popular of a pick. She didn't do a whole lot of damage. People weren't really familiar with how to use her. But in recent times, Sombra has become an exceptionally strong counter pick to a lot of very strong DPS characters. You know, she's used to shut down the D.Va. She's used to shut down the Reaper, the Doomfist. If you've been playing Overwatch for a while, you're very familiar with the Reaper Doomfist meta that plagued the game for a very long period of time. So this Sombra kind of becoming a very popular pick. And just as I'm saying this, Strider's going to prove me wrong and switch back to the Reaper. But we will kind of see how these compositions play out. And it looks like Arkansas is going to adapt that front wall defense here as well.
It's interesting to see both teams opt for Mercy in this situation. It makes sense because of the Pharah, but to see both sides choosing Mercy, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, Mercy is often used as kind of like a fail-safe pick. You know, if your heroes are going down, that res can mean a lot in a team fight situation. But it looks like Vailable's already kind of doing work for his team, picking out Cockroach on the side, Seymour finishing off Spade, Vailable with another kill onto Pitter Patter there, and Arkansas is already getting burnt out here. That's nearly a team wipe for St. Clair's side, and they're going to get to push that payload quite a long way before Arkansas can reset on this defense here.
Yeah, for sure. I thought they were gonna Arkansas were gonna push up and try to hold St. Clair like they did to give them a taste of their own medicine, but it looks like St. Clair was not having that.
Not at all. St. Clair's happy to just push that point as far as they please, and Arkansas is not really going to have the time to set up their defense here. Strider already with the rocket barrage, a double kill, a triple kill, Vailable cleaning it up, Prince Wada with the charge finishing the kill, and that's a team wipe. Arkansas doesn't even get to leave the spawn again. Just an absolute demolition from St. Clair here.
Looks like St. Clair wins 2-0 for this first game against Arkansas of the season, preseason.
I'm shaking right now. That was
Yeah.
insane. That was the fastest 2-0 I've ever seen in my life. That was just dominance on all three maps there that we got to see. Obviously getting to go attack and defense here.
The shatter was insane.
That was just a beautiful play from Prince Wada, and on his birthday, no less. You know?
Yeah, happy birthday, Prince Wada.
Just incredible games. Really, really, really exciting to see that here. St. Clair with a 2-0 start in two of their matches now. Their first game, obviously, against St. Louis, now against Arkansas State. Really a strong, dominant start to the season, the preseason here from the St. Clair squad.
For sure. I think it's really interesting seeing Justin and Apostle opting for some primarily AoE heals like Brig and Lucio, compared to what you usually see teams. They want to have more of stable heals like Mercy, Ana, something that'll keep up their teams, even Bat, consistently. But they're really confident with their aggressiveness, and that, you know, they're going to get those picks to get those Brig heals and to have the Lucio constantly healing the team.
Yeah, and those AoE heals, you know, they get a lot of value if your team has a lot of good kind of like coherent positioning, right? If your teams all clump together and they kind of follow each other's movements and they know how each other approaches the situation, those AoE heals can provide so much more value to a team than a single target heal would. So really just kind of proving once again that the St. Clair squad really knows their stuff and has amazing synergy. Obviously, a big thanks kind of to their coaching staff for enforcing those good behaviors. We know their coaches pretty well, and their coaches are really kind of doing really great work with the team this year. So I'm excited to see what the St. Clair squad has in store for them for the rest of the preseason.
For sure.
So we are going to take a quick look at the Saints schedule here. So we don't just have our Overwatch team, we have teams for tons of other games as well. So Thursday night is going to be the League of Legends preseason game against Queen's University, followed by Friday at 8:30 p.m. It's going to be the Collegiate Rainbow Six regular season match. The next week, starting on Monday, is going to be the start of the NACE series. It's going to be another Overwatch game against Kettering University, followed by Rocket League the following evening in a doubleheader match. Moving into Wednesday, we've got yet another Overwatch preseason match every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Another Overwatch preseason match. Thursday night at 7 p.m. There's a Tespa Hearthstone game. I'll be there, so make sure to drop by and come cheer us on. Gonna get a win after last week's disappointment. We're gonna have to swing that around for next week, so make sure to come and support our team there. And then Friday the 2nd, a Collegiate Rainbow Six regular season match, week 3. So tons and tons of Saints games to come and watch on this channel here. So make sure, if you're not already following us, twitch.tv/SaintsGamingCA, make sure to drop a follow so you know what we're up to next.
Also, be sure to check out our Twitter, St. Clair Esports Club or Saints Gaming, for any news on streams, different games. We have some club teams opening up if you're interested. We have Overwatch, Hearthstone, all that good stuff. Be sure to drop in and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, get in touch with Amanda if you want to play some Overwatch for the club Overwatch team. She'd be happy to have you. We'd all be happy to have you at the St. Clair Esports Club. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. Looks like we're about to sign off though for tonight. So once again, my name, Shadi Hannah Zeddy, and then alongside Amanda Dupuis. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you next week on the cast suspension.